Welcome to 3 Steps, the second part of a 3-part interview with Carl John. And if you missed the first one, follow the link right there. Now, this one is titled "The Things I Found Helpful Were ... And it's, an emphasis on what he found helpful. Now, let me give you some context for who Carl John is. He was a business developer and a real estate developer here in Vegas, and he was the power suit wearing, fast car driving, that go-getter kind of a guy, and he, decided to change careers and change life goals and just grab the wheel and turn right. And he decided to become a Nashville songwriter, move to Nashville, write songs, put out an album, write a book. And then on that journey, he started having a spiritual awakening. And, he really came into his study of spirituality and for himself, and he became a spiritual healer. And he is a beautiful, grounded, powerful leader that is really successful in his life right now. And he is an amalgam of all the things that we described just before. So in this interview, he gives us those things that he found that were helpful. So we talked about trusting men. And I'll let you hear his answer. But he has this really powerful insight that helped frame his view around trusting men. And it's one that I share as well. So you get to enjoy that one. But we want to going into his story of self-discovery and his story of spiritual, finding his spiritual path. And he gives you a lot of details in there and a lot of little good tidbits and information and stuff, good pieces of advice and books and the things. But additionally, we had fun. Because we talked about fatherhood, and he gave this beautiful story about his girls, and it's just lovely. And so in this story, he talks about what he thought fatherhood was and what fatherhood became for him. And, like to quote him, you have to step into the unknown. All right, so see you on the inside, and I'll talk to you afterwards. Did you always trust men?
Did I always trust men? No.
Yeah.
I've always, I had a single mother and a sister. I always resonated with women. I've always had a lot of female energy in my life. Most of the people I work with are women.
Yeah.
In doing transformational work. Men, there's been times in my life where I didn't know if I could trust them. Felt that I may be betrayed, or they may have other motives. And the funny thing is about that, it's because that's what my fear was for myself to another. Because when I started, I didn't have a pot to piss in.
Right.
But I knew I was going to climb the mountain. So then I would have to show up in the country club, this, Midwest boy, right? Grew up in sticks.
Yeah.
And have to sell myself in a way. So was I really being authentic?
Right.
No.
Right.
It wasn't.
Yeah, totally.
So did I have a motive? I did.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Would I have betrayed somebody? Perhaps.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the world was my reflection.
Right. Yeah, totally. That's on point right there. That's the money. Wow. I've asked this question a lot, and that for me is one of the best answers.
Thank you.
It's one of the best answers because that is, to me, the truth of a thing. When it comes to trusting men. Most guys coming up, I haven't done a lot of men's circles. Most guys coming up, they don't trust men. They don't trust men because they don't trust how they operate in the world, and they know that, well, I might get a little underhanded, and if I can feel someone else who's also hungry, they might get a little underhanded, and I don't want him to get underhand with me, so I'm not going to trust him.
Right.
And it's like, fuck. And it's a vicious, ugly cycle. But if you, yeah.
And it's a fine balance too, because when you realize too, this is the shadow work, self-discovery, and you go, well, yeah, I was trying to get somewhere, but I wasn't a bad person. Like, I wasn't doing it vindictively. I was just trying to I had a daughter on the way, or I had bills to pay, and so I was trying to get to somewhere, right? Totally. So it wasn't completely authentic and present in those moments, but I wasn't vicious. So you start to see the other in that way too. It's like, oh yeah, they may have a motive behind their thing, but you can start to see through that and feel it, and you're like, but that's okay too, because I love that guy too, and I know this to be true, and but I know that I'm going to receive the experience and the energy that I'm putting out. So if I'll just stay in that space and be present, and I won't have to worry about not being able to trust somebody, getting screwed over, or anything else, because if I'm consistent in my energy and where my heart space is, I know that return's going to be there. Yeah, totally. And so you start to trust men in that way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I do. I do. You glanced on the work you did for yourself. Well, no, that self-discovery conversation. What did you go through? What are the things you did? What are some of the tools? Did you go to classes? Did you read books? Did you have what helped you figure out that self-discovery to help you figure out that truth? Because as you said, you went through different parts, the new clothes, the new businesses, the new life, the new this, and then it started over, and there was a new one, and there's a new one, and as the evolution kept happening, you kept turning in and looking at you. So what tools did you use? Was it a lot of self-talk? What happened? Well, there was a lot of tools that showed up. I mean, literally, books used to fall off the shelf. They say when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. Yeah. And that's how it would happen. The universe is your teacher. And when my heart was ready to grow, things would come into my awareness. Books, teachers, tools for my tool belt. Yeah. And I was reading, the Tao and the Bhagavad Gita and reading books on the quantum field and trying to understand the convergence of spirituality and science and the understanding of all these ancient truths to the one truth. And along the way, there were things that I found helpful. Breath work, meditation, yoga, that helped move that energy through me. Because many of these things in you are stuck patterns. And they're there, and they're the groove in the record that you acquired when you were 6 years old. And they've been playing in the background your whole life. Yeah. And they're still showing up in your vibration every time you're around. So if you can smooth that over so that you can lift out, and if you can step out of that vibration and move powerfully into the next phase of your life, it serves you. Because you can linger in a space for many years. Yeah. You witness pieces of your life, or you witness it in others, that they don't seem to have changed. Yeah. A decade, 2 decades. Yeah. Right? Stuck in a pattern. And some of these tools, they're ancient, I found have served me better for that type of deep dive within yourself. Yeah. There's tools I've used in the 7 habits and the laws of power and all of the business and executive coaching type of books. Yeah. That I have felt are good for giving you structure and discipline. Right. Combined with doing the deep work yourself, I've found that that's made more of an impact than anything else. So, the meditation, the breath work, the yoga, the self-inquiry. And if you're seeking it out, it's going to seek you out.
Yeah.
You don't have to look too hard. It will show up. It showed up in my life as teachers. It showed up in my life as I said, books on the shelf. But it showed up.
Yeah.
And you have to step into it. You have to step into the new, into the unknown, and experience it for yourself.
Yeah, totally.
Because you integrate that into your life then.
Yeah.
It's not, well, I believe this to be true. I believe it to be true because it is, in my experience. I have found that when I thought in this new way, life showed up in this new way. Now that's my truth. It's not a scripture that I memorized.
Right.
It's unshakable for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if you want to tell them about the arc you went through, you could give them some of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
My background, I was, I went into the military when I was 17. Started in San Francisco, different jobs, became a club promoter at one time, and was in advertising and a lot of different things. Moved out to Las Vegas, became a real estate developer and financier. Sat on the boards that had started the arts district downtown, the redevelopment zone of the entertainment district, which was great for having vision and manifesting, because at that time I had 2 little daughters, and I said, this is going to be the coolest area of town by the time they're teenagers. My daughter's 14 years old now. Yeah. That's the coolest area of town.
It is. Yeah, totally.
And it's more amazing than I even could have, envisioned at the time. I got involved in hospitality, bought a building with a partner, and developed a restaurant, gaming bar, wine lounge, whatever. Went through a downturn in the market, divorce, custody battle, all those things. And just prior to that, I had purchased a vacation house in Taos, New Mexico, which is a spiritual vortex there. And I had got into some Eastern philosophy and quantum physics and the Tao and indigenous cultures, because the oldest active pueblo in the United States is Taos Pueblo, which is there. And started looking at these different truths, that you would see in the things like What the Bleep Do We Know and The Secret and that sort of thing. And so when I went through this change, and the rug was literally yanked out from under me, I went, well, am I going to climb back here, or what have I always wanted? I was like, well, I've always wanted to be an artist. And I knew 3 good chords on a guitar, like most guys, And I said, if all of this is true, all this that I've read is true, and I can create whatever I want in my life, then I'm going to step in as if and live as if right now. Yeah. And within a couple months, I recorded my first song. Yeah. Within 6 months, I had that show I mentioned, opening up for Robin Thicke at the Venetian, with red carpet and all this. I ended up in Nashville in a year. I ended up winning a Hollywood Music and Media Award for a song that I wrote that actually was with a sound shaman from Taos Pueblo that I recorded with. And it was blowing my mind, because I was feeling, wow, every way I was living was wrong, because as I started to become this thing, the world would reflect back to me. People would fall out that were there. I was stepping into the unknown, so new people were coming into my life, new experiences, new things, right, to support this vision of who I am. Right. And so it became less about the music for me and became more about this journey. Right. And during that process, I became a healer. I started doing transformational work with people in this way. And it's been the most powerful thing in my life, because I've never, in anything I've done, had people say that I've saved them, helped them, such powerful ways. Yeah. Everything from their just marriages falling apart, living out of integrity, to shifting their entire life. To, it's been mind blowing, and it's been the most beautiful thing that I can't undo now. Like, I can't go backwards into just acquiring things in life. If it's not here for a deeper purpose, a deeper connection, it's like I don't understand why I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's been the evolution, and it's been really beautiful.
Yeah.
I wrote a book about the process called The Journey Home, and have an audiobook and all that. And it was literally the experience of living that way, of choosing to jump without a net, and to live in these spiritual truths and see what shows up. And it wasn't always pretty, because guess what? When you dig deep, it's like when I walk into a room, right? Let's say you have a house that you're moving in for remodel, right? You go, oh, well, this place is dirty. So you clean up the stuff and everything around there. You go, oh, this is better. But then you get into that dirt in the corner that hasn't been cleaned since the house was built.
Yeah.
And now it's glaringly obvious because everything else has been cleaned around it.
Yeah.
Now you got to get in and do the deep dive.
Yeah.
Do the deep cleaning. And that brings up all the shadow work. Right?
Yeah.
And then you have to shine some light on that in your life.
Yeah.
Right? Because some of the things you've been running away from your whole life, or, you thought were bad or shameful or this or that, whatever those things are, you start seeing that as the whole of you.
That is important. Yeah.
And then when you can see the beauty in that too.
Yeah.
Then that starts to shift all of it.
Everything
you start to find
moves.
joy and love in your life because you have that self-love, and then you start to experience that with others, right?
Yep.
So,
it's backwards thinking too.
Yeah.
It's totally backwards thinking because people think, oh, I want to hide this part from the world. I want to keep us away. I want to pretend it's not there. And it's like, no, if you actually take the time, put the light on it, shine on it, figure out what's going on with it, love into that space of it, you can not only heal that part of you, you can also reincorporate it into and make it a part of the core that is you so you can move forward. It is such beautiful work. And it's hard. It can be hard. I don't want to say it's going to be hard. It can be emotionally a roller coaster ride. But the journey is worth it because at the end of that work, for myself personally, and I've gone through a lot, it's the most unifying of the self. In NLP, there's a conversation about parts conversations. Part of me feels this way, part of me feels that way, And the parts conversations are basically you've broken off an idea of how you think and you've made a part of it. So you've discorporated it from you. And so it sits in there and it stays there. And it's not reintegrated into who you are. So that part of you struggles with all of the rest of you because it's not... It's like, no, we don't do that. No, we don't like that. No, da, da, da. And it's like, part of me doesn't feel this way. Part of me feels that way. And it's like, well, what if I put that attention on that part and I find out what it wants and what it likes? And it's like, oh, you need tools. Let me educate you. Let me inform you. Let me love you. Let me make you precious instead of shaming you, making you wrong. For whatever reason, we made shame important back when we were young. And now that healing of that part of you, it's like there's a stillness that comes from that. Yeah, I love the work you do, man. It's beautiful. So you're a dad.
I am.
I'm going off script here a little bit here because I like asking questions that I know about people that to dig into. Fatherhood, man.
Fatherhood.
What does being a father mean? Actually, what did you think being a father meant versus the reality of what being a father meant?
Ooh. What I thought being a father meant was, supporting your kids and giving them a roof over their head and that sort of thing. Teaching them, right? Teaching them how to brush their teeth and how to comb their hair. But then it became how to navigate life. Because all the things are going to change. I don't know tomorrow, okay? When I was a kid, I remember parents telling their kid, What, you gonna play video games with the rest of your life? Well, you got to go out and do something to get a job. Learn, be a mechanic or something, right? Those jobs fade away. These new ones that you have no clue about. Yeah, the kids that were playing games are, doing quite well. Right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Programming
right? Programming, designing. Yeah. They're doing fine, right?
Yeah.
And living their life. I have no clue what's to come.
Yeah.
Right? But there are truths in being here, right? That will serve you no matter what changes around you in life and the job and all of that sort of thing. So trying to teach my children from that place in those lessons has become the job for me. How to create abundance in their life, how to look at possibilities. I'll give you an example. This is actually interesting. One day I went to pick up my daughters from their mom's house, and before we went back to my house, I said, let's go out for the day and let's do a thing. What do you want to do? And I have two daughters, and the little one said, I wanted to, and I think they were, I think probably 10 and 7 at the time, or something like that. And, one said, I want to go swimming today. And I said, no, I want to go to the park. And I said, okay, wait. Let's not talk about what we're going to do. Let's talk about what we want to experience. I said, what do you mean? I said, what do we want to experience? Well, I want to go swimming. No. You want to get wet. Okay, you want to get wet. Yeah. The little one was like, I want to go to the park. Well, what do you want to do? Play soccer. Okay, you want to go to a soccer game? Okay. You want to experience sports. You want to experience teamwork. Okay, do that. I want to experience new food. Right? I want spontaneous laughter. We want to experience spontaneous laughter. Right? I want to sing and dance. Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, now we went to the 99-cent store and we got a book. We wrote all these things down. We decorated the book.
Oh, yeah.
Sparkles and that. We were eating bagels and just having our breakfast. And I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get in the car. Here's a coin. Okay? I want you to flip the coin every time I get to an intersection. Heads is left, tails is right.
Nice.
Pick a number between 1 and 20.
Ooh.
They picked 15 or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? All right. We go. Flip the coin. Left. Flip the coin. We come up to right. We end up on the freeway. Right? We exited. We started in one area of California, suburb, Pleasant Hill area, and we ended up in Oakland, right around the lakeshore.
Yeah.
On the last flip, we pulled into a parking lot. The last flip.
Yeah.
And parked. And we went to the 99-cent store. I got these little shooters, water and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I filled one up, water, and I had it in the front seat, and both kids were in the back. That's how young they were. They were both in the back seat. And my youngest went over my shoulder to tell me something, and she grabbed the squirter and sprayed, right? And we started cracking up, and I went, get wet, spontaneous laughter. And they both went, we're playing the new game.
We're playing a new game. Yeah.
We're playing a new game.
Yeah.
Everything on that list. We went to this Cuban restaurant. There was this dance party around Lake Merritt going on that day.
Nice.
There was a soccer game happening. All the things we experienced in that day. Why? Because we got out of our own way. We put our intention out there, and then we were present in every moment.
Yeah.
We weren't seeking it out.
Yeah.
We weren't searching it out. We were present, and we walked in flow, right? So that lesson, I've been able to point back numerous times.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Stop doing. Start being.
Start being.
Be, then do. Be, then do.
So fucking good.
So as a parent, I try to teach from that point because I see my children as whole and complete. They came here whole and complete.
Yeah.
So I see my job as guiding them in a way of being in the world so that they become better humans. I don't care about as much of what they're going to be when they grow up. I'm going to be a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I've been a bunch of things. I'm going to be it's like you're just changing clothes.
Yeah.
But your eternal self,
Yeah.
can I teach you something that you can, own right now, or maybe come back to it another time?
Yeah.
In that moment of change or turmoil or hardship or growth, and maybe you have a tool that your father gave you that will be of service.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fatherhood.
Yeah, it's fatherhood.
Thank you for that, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. So what'd you think? Good stuff, right? I mean, he gives some really clear and eloquent answers, and he also gives you some insight to his journey, his spiritual path, the road he was on, and the things and the tools that he used. And I think he does a really good job. And I love the story about his kids. I love that story. So, did you like the video? Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Help us reach 100 subscribers. We are so very close right now. And by all means, join the Facebook group because we're going to have him on this Sunday. All right, see you on Friday.